Hey, Flooring Pros, I'm Jerry Levinson, and this is the Flooring Business Podcast, where we talk to expert flooring dealers, suppliers, marketing experts, and software experts, and anyone who I believe is going to help you in your flooring business. Now, my mission is to give you good information that'll help you reach your goals. If you're just starting your business, or you're trying to reach $5 million in sales, or you're getting ready to sell your business, you're going to find useful information that'll help you reach your goals and profit now in the flooring industry. The Flooring Business Podcast is brought to you by Ring Ring Marketing. Go to ringringmarketing.com and request a free analysis of your website, your area, and your scope of work. They'll make recommendations on how to best strategize your marketing efforts so you get the best return on your investment. You'll even get a coach that helps you get better results. And on today's show, I have on Adam Baker with Textile Concepts, but he's here to talk about Make It Match. How's it going, Adam?
I'm good. How are you, Jerry?
So great. And I had you came out to the master class. Was it a year ago or a year and a half ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Seems like
2 years ago, maybe.
Seems like it was forever. It was 2 years. We got another one coming up here in November. Did I tell you about that?
No. Where's that one at this year?
That's going to be in Orlando, the same place.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of cool because you were able to show people a demo of how it works. So, how are things going since then with Make It Match? You got a lot of clients using it now.
Yeah, it's going well. We've got a lot of clients using it out there. When we go to the trade shows, it's always great to have people come up and say, "Hey, I'm using that. I love that." People tell me, "Oh, I use that every day."
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, and it seems like it's getting easier and easier for the people that are using it every day, especially. But so what Make It Match is, it's a product that you can use to match your moldings. So stair moldings, T moldings, anything that you need that would take forever to get from any of the suppliers. What are the people I'm thinking of? Who's the supplier?
Just about any of the third-party trim suppliers or even the manufacturers.
Oh, yeah, the manufacturers.
Yeah.
It's amazing how complicated the trim business is, too. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's hard to get the trim. It's expensive to get it shipped to you, and it doesn't usually match.
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of the age-old problem of transitions, the different things that you have to go through. I mean, you can do everything right. You can get the right displays in your store. You can have good installers. You can have good salespeople. You can get that sale. You can order everything in a timely manner. You can schedule that installation. And then all of a sudden, when everything arrives for the installation, the wrong trims came.
Right.
It's that simple to really blow up your hard work in that scenario.
And you get the wrong trim in, and so you reorder it. They rush it out to you, and it's still the wrong trim because it doesn't match.
Yeah, exactly. Think about this situation from outside of the flooring industry. As a consumer coming in and picking out a floor, it's only logical to think that the trims and the floors are going to be identical.
Yeah.
It's only logical from that standpoint, from their perspective. So, in the industry, you have to do a lot of conversation about corresponding versus matching. You have to kind of prepare that customer ahead of time that it might not work. It might not be identical.
I hate using lingo like that because when you identify and you're specific and say, well, I said it was coordinating, that's not going to fly. A customer is never going to go for that. So when I was in the window covering business, you had to say room darkening, not blackout. I'm sorry. They think it's going to be a blackout. I mean, you really got to say it. Well, I didn't say it was a blackout. I said it was room darkening. No, that doesn't work. So if you try to change your lingo to justify it and make it work, that'll backfire on you so quick.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes you look bad.
Right.
It makes you look like you were kind of seedy, honestly.
Right.
And in a scenario where, let's say the trims are back ordered, let's say that you've already scheduled the installation, and now the flooring installer has gone out there. He's done his job. It looks great, except for it's still not finished because you don't have the transitions.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Everything could be done perfectly on time. They're happy with the price. They're happy with all the work. They love the installer. He cleaned up after himself. Everything was great. But man, they're pissed now.
Yeah,
because the trim isn't finished.
exactly.
And
And
it's going to take 3 weeks to get new trim in. And it might not be the right trim still. And they're holding a balance, 50% balance on you that, is thousands of dollars for a $50 stick of trim.
yeah, it is a cash flow killer in that regard. And that's it. Even if you get the job paid for up front, there could be a credit card chargeback related to it
Yeah.
because of that, because it's not finished.
Right.
And then if you think about it, like when somebody has a new floor installed and their friends come over, their neighbors, their family members, in that scenario, that should be excellent word of mouth advertisement for the flooring retailer or the installer in that situation. So, but what it eventually the conversation is actually going to be is that floor looks great. I just wish they could get it finished. And it's well,
Right.
who's doing the job? What's the retailer? So, they name the name of the retailer or the installer, but they're the ones that's going to catch that negative word of mouth versus the manufacturer who you're
Well,
telling
yeah.
the manufacturer,
It,
but it's
it,
really
it
you.
was it was Shaw that sent me the wrong product. Yeah, they don't care.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
how long have you been in this business? How much have you done this?
Yeah.
You know, my see, I just got a trailer hitch and lights hooked up for my boat. So I went to U-Haul and got this done, and the lighting isn't hooked up right. So I can't back up the boat because they didn't hook up the lighting right. And then I took it to another mechanic, and so they changed it, but it still didn't work right. I'm like, am I the first guy ever to hook up a hitch and lights
Yeah.
for a boat? Is this something
Right.
new? And that's what I would think if I was a customer dealing with this. It's like, am I the first one that ever did flooring with you guys that had trim that transitioned from the carpet to the luxury vinyl? Am I the first person ever to do stairs with you guys?
Yeah.
Is this your first job?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um, and it's like, how much time as a flooring retailer, how much time is wasted on trying to solve these problems, trying to track that down, calling manufacturers, explaining things to the customer. As a retailer, I do wonder how much time they spend doing that because that's time that should have been dedicated to getting additional sales.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, yeah, tracking it down and getting the part, but then sending an installer out there just to put that in because it's not the
Yeah.
installer's fault it's wrong. So you got to compensate him as well.
Hmm.
And it's not only a matter about paying them. So what about that? You got to send the installer out there and versus another job he could be working on. So it's
Exactly.
going to take him 2 hours to go put on a stick of trim when you consider travel time. And that's 2 hours that he could have been working on another job, making you a lot more money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
So,
probably if you have an in-house installer. If you're using an outhouse installer, like, a contractor, he or she's probably going to need to charge you at least half a day because they usually have a daily rate that they need to make.
we call them subcontractors because if you call them outhouse installers, people think it's
Yeah.
porta potties. So,
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
so I've
Yeah.
never heard that term before. We should use it. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, but so tell us about how it works. How does Make It Match work? You could use it pretty much on any trim, and so walk us through the process. It only works on luxury vinyl. That's
Yeah. Rigid core vinyl planks.
okay. Rigid core
Mhm.
vinyl planks. So, so walk us through that process. How does it work?
Okay. So basically what the system is we call it the tools, the tapes, and the techniques. So in regards of the tools, what we call is a plank skinner toolkit. This comes with a plank skinner, which is an aircraft grade aluminum tool that fits into a drill. That drill is attached to it. So then you have forward and reverse. You're going to put it in forward. Then you're going to take with the kit comes a roller, a double head roller to help you to work as you wrap the transitions, and it comes with a smoother. And the smoother helps you to smooth out any bubbles or creases and things like tuck into real tight spaces with it. So they take the plank skinner and you strip the wear layer off of the plank. So we're just separating, we're peeling that wear layer off. Once we've got it off, we can use a heat gun and we can conform that to whatever shape we want it to be. Okay. So we're using a double-sided tape called match wrap to wrap the transition in it. This is a very thin tape. It's a woven fabric. It's plasticizer resistant. The adhesive won't displace under rolling loads or under foot traffic. It won't show indentations like other tapes will.
Yeah, you don't want to go get your tape from Home Depot. You want to get it from
you want to
guys,
get the
right?
right thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So once the adhesive tape is applied to the transition, then you're going to take and apply the skin or the wear layer. You're going to heat it with the heat gun and conform it to it. Use the roller and the cork the smoother to rub it all in, and then cut off your excess pieces.
Okay. So is it fair to ask what's the cost per application, say 8-foot application? Because you do have the cost of the plank, which hopefully you got some left over. We got some left over from the project, and then the tape, really. Not even the tool cost, because that's a one-time purchase, and then you own the tool.
Exactly. As far as the tool cost, though, the distributors are listing the plank skinner toolkit, which is those 3 items, all included in a canvas storage bag, for around $155.
Okay, that's nothing.
That's a one-time deal.
Right.
You're done. You've got that. The next thing is,
how much tape does that come with, that one kit?
That is just the toolkit itself.
That's just the toolkit. Okay.
Yeah, that's just the toolkit. After that, you've got the match wrap 3.5-inch tape, and you have match wrap 5-inch tape. So the 3.5 would be used for like your T-moldings, reducers, end caps. One roll is 3.5 inches wide by 130 feet long. So you get quite a bit on there. So yeah, that is enough. One roll is enough to do about 16 full sticks of transition. So that comes in 3 rolls per box. Usually, the distributors do sell it by the roll. So as far as if you ordered a box of it, though, you're going to get 48 full sticks worth of transitions that you can do with it. They're pricing that one at around $50 per roll. So if you look at it per foot, that's around 39 cents per roll. And so wrapping an 8-foot stick would cost you around $3.12.
Oh, yeah, nothing. So
that's just nothing.
From what I've heard from people is they're saying, the ones that are using it, they're saying that, it was a little bit complicated and time consuming at first. That the first 2 or 3 sticks took them a while to get used to it, and using the heat gun and the timing of everything and putting it on properly. After that, it got kind of be fun to do. It was one of those things that they almost enjoy now having to do it because they're good at it and they like going in the back in the shop. If I was to do it, it's the kind of thing I do at night in front of the TV. While I'm watching TV, I would just put out a table and put together a couple sticks that I needed for tomorrow.
Yeah. Or go sit down and set your phone up and listen to Jerry's podcast while you're working on it.
There you go. Perfect.
But yeah, I've heard people say that, it's like, I would say an installer, somebody that's hands-on, probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and he kind of has the hang of it, but he'll only get faster. He or she only get faster. I've heard people say that it's kind of addictive once they get used to it.
Yeah.
You
stop trying to order trim that matches. It's like, screw it, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
So what are people doing that, because you still got that problem when it comes to laminate? Are you finding that they're trying to find a matching vinyl to go with it so they can make their own trim if they have to?
I have been told that, yes. So usually, like when somebody orders or whatever, you can go to our website and get our contact information. So I usually give them my cell phone number, and they call me anytime that they have questions or an issue or a scenario. So even on Saturday, I've taken some calls and helped some people out doing that. But yeah, I have seen that exact scenario where they went and found something that was skinnable, and to finish off for a laminate. In that scenario, it's not an exact match, but it's close enough to get them paid.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And there is a rare occasion where you do the exact match and the customer still says it doesn't match, but those those oddball scenarios where it's like, there's no way I can make it match any better than this. It's the same
Yeah.
exact product.
Yeah, it's not even an argument anymore because you can demonstrate and show them that it came from this. It is
Right.
identical, right? Whereas the corresponding one, outside in the sunlight, you hold the floor there and the corresponding one there, and they look pretty good, right?
Yeah.
They can look pretty good, but then once you take them in the house, the interior lighting, how they reflect light differently, gives them a completely different visual appearance. Whereas
Now,
if you make it match by using the same wear layer, that interior lighting it doesn't matter anymore.
forgive my ignorance for this, but does it does that kind of flooring have a nap to it? I don't think it does. Where
No.
like if you reverse the direction, like carpet, if you reverse the direction, so if you're doing that on a stair or something like that, you would
Yeah.
see one would be light, one would be dark.
Yeah, I haven't encountered that. Nothing like that so far has shown up to me, and nobody's complained or said anything about that.
Yeah, I know it's a stupid
regard.
question.
Now,
All right.
oftentimes I've been asked this question many times, and that is, can I wrap laminate moldings? Yes, you can. So if you've got a stockpile of laminate moldings, well, you can wrap those in vinyl.
Yeah. So how many people are using this as a sales advantage to say one of the things we do, we wrap our own trim? Some of the people like you, I was interviewing Floor Cloud last week, and it's like, man, I would use this on the sales side about moisture content. On if I'm using Make It Match, I would make a point of that if I'm doing stairs or I'm doing something where we got to get matching trim. One thing nice, I've got a tool where I can make this match perfectly because we take it from your flooring. So you're not going to have a stick of trim like you do now. You see that trim there, how it doesn't match? Ours will match perfectly because, we have a way to make it match. So,
right. Yeah. I think that's a great upfront sales technique because, there's different articles and things out there saying that the salesperson needs to have the upfront conversation about corresponding. So that's a great time to say, hey, we could be talking about corresponding, but let's talk about matching. This is what we do different. It's what sets us apart.
yeah. As I'm always talking to somebody, a flooring dealer, I find out these things that they do that are awesome and unique, but they don't put them into their sales presentation. So I'm sure if you can match the trim exactly and they need trim, because there is an obvious transition, that you can beat a Home Depot or somebody that is filing bankruptcy like Lumber Liquidators. You can beat those companies easily because you're going to present much better results.
Yeah. Yeah. Much better results, much better quality. Because the other part of that could be part of that conversation is, hey, you've looked at, 50 different samples. You looked at 12 different product lines that we offer. So you've settled on this one. You like this one. You like the wear layer. It's a nice 20 mil wear layer. But if you go with the corresponding transitions, you're going to get a 6 mil wear layer on that transition because it's not the same. It's not as thick. It's not as wearable as what they've settled on.
Yeah, and that'll wear out. And also, what if you're carrying stuff in stock? Well, a lot of people carry stuff in stock so customers can get it right away. So what if you're a weekend warrior and you want to get stuff in right away and a customer wants it right away? Well, okay, let's order the trim. That's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get a stick of trim and cost a lot of money. And especially if you have the trim sitting there, you charge a lot of money to make it match perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can probably make a healthy profit on the trim alone.
Yeah. You have as far as our users go, from the feedback that I get, you have the users that are going to use it when they get in a jam. That's usually their introduction. They're in a tight spot.
Yeah.
They have something where they're not getting paid. They need to, they've learned about the system. Now they're going to order the system, but they need it tomorrow. So you're having to pay this priority overnight freight, do the learning curve while they're in the jam. And it's just, it's just not the best way to do it. If you're a flooring retailer, you need to go ahead and have one of these on site.
Yeah.
and somebody there needs to know how to use it already.
Right.
For those situations. So you have users that are going to use it when they're in a jam. If it's going to avoid the installer having to come back the next day or a week from now or whatever. If it's a weekend, they can't get something they need. They're going to use it just when they're in those scenarios. And then you have the user that uses it every single day. That these users typically have a large amount of obsolete trims or transitions that have stacked up over the years in the warehouse. And these guys are turning that trash into cash.
Yeah. I like that.
They're taking their warehouse guys sometimes or ladies out there, they're taking and using it as filler work and just going ahead and wrapping transitions.
Yeah.
So if you get a little time to kill, go wrap some transitions. This is something where it's like some people are even making money on the side doing nothing but this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can see them doing it. I mean, it's really valuable. I mean, it would be a huge value to flooring dealers all over.
Yeah.
That would actually be a brilliant idea. You could set up a shop and a business, go around all the flooring dealers and say, hey, I can custom make trim for you. If you need something for a job they sell a ton of luxury vinyl. If you need that, I can custom make it for you. Just here, place your order here and,
yeah, exactly.
double the cost of the trim and all that. And, make good money on it.
And the everyday users, what I found is some of them, they start to run out of what they had. They turned all that trash into cash. That's gone.
Yeah.
So, but what they're doing now is they're contacting manufacturers, different manufacturers, and saying, do you have any discontinued trims?
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
I've been told that they get them for as little as $1 a stick plus the freight cost. They order like a pallet of these things.
That's brilliant.
And that's just, what does it cost to order a transition? It's $60, $70 sometimes. I mean,
oh yeah,
you're getting it for $1 and you sell it for whatever you want to at that
shipping
point.
alone is a killer on that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the shipping cost and the time it takes to get it in. It just takes forever. And then again, when you do get it in, I wonder what percentage of times it doesn't match. It just seems like almost every time that we ordered trim, it didn't match.
And it's subjective. I mean, you or I could look at it and say, that's okay. But then the third person can say, no, that's terrible. I mean, it's so subjective. So taking it from the subjective to the objective, where it's not even a discussion anymore, simply by taking it from the plank itself is just the way to go.
Yeah. We had a customer that asked us, looked at it and said, look at this, really doesn't match very good. And I said, well, yeah, our process is, after about 2 or 3 weeks, and they're like, well, you think it's going to get better? I said, no, I'd like to see if you drink heavily. Maybe you don't notice. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, try it. Yeah, we had actually already ordered a new stick of trim because we knew it didn't match. So
you got to give away a case of beer or a bottle of vodka with every floor install.
Right. Yeah. How do I know you can't see that? Maybe you're not too bright. Who knows? So,
people are creative out there. They do different things. You can wrap the transition, stair noses, flush mount noses. You have people that you can wrap the handrails. So when you do a stair installation, now the handrail doesn't match anymore. So usually that's the process of taking that one down, making a new one and staining it the correct color. But you can wrap the handrails with the Make It Match system using the skin. So now you have an exact match there.
When did you create this? Did you build a better mousetrap, or was this your idea?
Well, I had seen installers out here doing something similar like this. They were taking and peeling it by hand.
Yeah.
So it's just very difficult to get it started, and to get it going without tearing it, disfiguring it, breaking it. Whereas the plank skinner itself, it eliminates that. It doesn't disfigure it as it pulls it off.
Yeah.
So what they were doing that, and also using spray adhesives. Spray adhesives are generally highly flammable. They smell terrible.
Yeah.
They make a mess.
Yeah.
And then some of these guys use a torch instead of a heat gun. Well, that's a bad combination.
Right.
So it gets it done, but it's a messy process. Other guys I had seen doing it were taking a liquid contact cement and having to brush it on there. This is just nasty, smelly things. So we looked at what they were doing to get by because they're
Yeah.
solving the problem. They're getting it done, but there's a better way. It's like when you look at it, using tape is so much better. The
Right.
right tape is so much better than a liquid adhesive, a spray adhesive, any of that stuff. It's so
How
much
did you
more
find that
efficient.
tape? Did you guys kind of develop that yourselves, or did you?
Yes. So we offer different kinds of flooring installation tapes, contact adhesive tapes, wall to wall installation tapes. So in that process, we went through what we already had in our arsenal and did a lot of testing. I stripped a mountain of boards, Jerry, and wrapped a ton of things,
Really?
different things. Yeah. Um, Beating these things to death over time, to see which one performed the best. And we settled on what we call match wrap. And the one of the biggest things about match wrap that I like is that it's forgivable. So when you lay it down and you press your profile into it, if you didn't get it straight, no problem. Just pull it off,
Oh,
start over. You got a few minutes. Now, once it's wrapped, 15 minutes later, it's set up. It's game over. But
okay.
but it's forgivable. So I've even seen guys using a contact tape, and which is not forgivable at all. I don't know if you're familiar with contact tape, but it's not forgivable.
Yeah.
Once it's there, it's there. Okay, so and also like contact tapes are thicker and they're more like much softer. So that adhesive will displace over time. It'll form ruts going through doorways
No.
and on stairs, things like that. So having the right tape is the way to go.
Yeah, that's amazing how you we got the development of some of these products like that. Um, Reminds me of the glue that there's like a super glue that you put it out there, but it doesn't stick until you attach it and like get rid of the oxygen or something like that, and
Oh,
then it's like hard to come apart. So,
yeah.
but finding a tape like that it's amazing to develop that product. You
Mhm.
know, so and you guys have a patent on that, so
We have a patent on the toolkit, yes.
on the toolkit and not
Mhm.
the tape though.
No, not the tape itself, no.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah,
the tool itself is patented.
you got to patent the tape. Can you patent tape?
No, you can't patent tape anymore. You can different formulations
Really?
probably can, but not the tool. Yeah.
Oh, I would think you could patent the tape as well because that's very unique.
Depending on the different formulations that you would add to it, yeah.
Huh.
But
All
we
right.
focus when we did our patent effort, we focused on the tool itself.
Yeah. What got you in the flooring business in the first place?
Um, I kind of grew up in it. It was growing up in Dalton, Georgia,
Yeah.
flooring carpet capital of the world. It just seemed kind of natural. Even in like high school, I would work in the summertime in the mills. I learned to dye carpet, learned to tuft carpet, just about every process involved in manufacturing carpet. I learned. Um, so at some point, I was involved with a distributor where the company actually made the displays and all the samples that go out into the retail stores.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, all the printed material, all that kind of stuff, and we coordinated all that together. Brought it in from like 8 different companies. All the different parts would come together, and then we would distribute that across the United States. Whether that was uh, independently owned retail flooring locations, Home Depots, Costco's, things like that.
Hmm.
And in that, I got to know different people. One of the customers that we had was um, a flooring importer, an adhesives importer, and he and I got to know each other really well. And then later, he offered to for me to come into business with him.
Oh, neat.
So he's a mentor, so to speak, on that end. He has since passed away, but
Oh,
we continue on in the company. Textile Concepts has been in business for over 45 years.
oh, wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So, It's funny when people are trying to get in the flooring dealer group. If I see that they're from Georgia, they don't have to answer any other questions. I know that you're somehow involved in flooring if you're from
Yeah,
Georgia.
exactly.
I go down there and it's like billboards everywhere, you know,
Yeah, everywhere
flooring
by
companies.
I-75.
Yeah, nowhere else in the country do you see that many billboards of for flooring people. But when people say they're from Georgia and they have a retail business, like, oh yeah, that is.
Yeah,
I'll give you the my place is different is for competition prices. It's usually just an excuse, but Georgia, yeah, that's
yeah.
a bit tougher.
It's funny because growing up in Georgia, Jerry, I have never purchased flooring for my home.
Yeah.
It's always been given to me.
Oh, really?
Somebody, yeah, somebody had, oh, well, we need to get rid of this stuff over here. You can have whatever you want over here, just different manufacturers and say, I know a guy, I can get you some. I once got a roll of wool carpet, random shear pattern. I still have this installed in my home. It's about a $14,000 roll. They said, I just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the advantages to being in the flooring capital.
It seems that the luxury vinyl category, there's just growing problems within that category, and yet it's the number one product by far that's being sold. So, and it may just seem that way in our forum, and you're going to see a lot more complaints than you are people going, "Wow, everything's going wonderful in my life," So,
Yeah.
and that might be it. Do you see any changes in the industry when it comes to luxury vinyl flooring?
I think that, the more and more people are getting away from overlap nosings. Flush mount is more of what everybody's going to. They feel like it's safer, but you can wrap either version of that. I've been told by several different installers and people that have done just wrap the wooden treads that are the existing treads that are already installed. They've just taken and peeled the wear layer off of the planks and then wrapped the wood treads that are already there in the customer's
Okay.
home. And in that case, it's a closed staircase.
Oh,
Um, so we're actually going to be starting very soon to work on and document an installation method showing how to do that.
oh, good.
That I think will be very beneficial in those scenarios.
Yeah, is that going to be on video too, or?
Yes, we'll
Oh,
we'll
nice.
we'll video that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing is like on our website, the techniques part of the website gives you a video on how to do all of it. You can watch an overview of the system itself. Then you can watch an overview of the plank scanner in great detail how to do that.
What is that website?
It is makeitmatch.com.
Oh, okay. So Make It Match has its own website too.
Yes.
And then on that website, can you see where I can purchase it?
Yes. You can go in there and you can find distributors that are near you.
Yeah.
It's available from Fishman Flooring Solutions. It's available from Hank's Specialties. You can get it from a website called floortoolstore.com.
Okay.
And then if there's any issues from any of those, or you can also order it from our website if those distributors not in your area.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Perfect. And then one last question. So if I do have a trim that's 72 inches wide, but I'm using a 60-inch plank, how well do those seam together? Are you
They seem
doing an
together,
overlapping or are you butting them up?
butting them up. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just take that manufacturer's end and go ahead and just butt it up, just like to make it look like the rest of the flooring installation. That's if you want to go with one seam, that's the way to do it. Now, it really kind of depends on the room. Some people would just take and do one seam, and if that seam falls wherever it falls, and it looks
Right.
okay because it blends in with the rest of the floor. But some people would rather have the seams to the outside of
Right.
that. So they will do two, one on each end, so that the center part where the eye is generally falls to doesn't have a seam.
I see. That's a good idea.
And then
I
you have sometimes, if the installer really wants to take more time on it, they'll actually lay the planks out and find the pattern and cut it so that the pattern aligns perfectly on the transition.
Have you ever had anybody do like a 45 angle seam?
I have not. I've not. You mean like you just cut it at a 45
Yeah.
across the transition? No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
No.
If you can cut the material at 45-degree angle on both sides and put them into each other.
Yeah,
I
that
wonder
would be interesting.
what kind of look that would give you.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting to look at. I'll have to experiment with that. I'll
You'd
let you
have
know
to
how it goes.
cut it perfectly and use a 45-degree angle ruler
Hmm.
and then cut it perfectly on both sides. But I'm wondering what kind of seam that would put together.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll experiment with that and let you know. I'll text you a picture of it.
so as you're gluing it, any problems with it coming apart at the seam where if people are
No,
walking on it or something like that,
no,
that's not going to
it's
be
yeah,
more vulnerable to peeling or anything like that.
no. The adhesive tape gives it some dimensional stability right there as well.
Okay.
For as far as like for new users, one of the some of the tips that I end up giving the users when they contact me is a in the summertime this is not much of an issue, but in the wintertime it is. That plank needs to be acclimated to room temperature first because the wear layer can be brittle if it's cold. So
Okay.
you acclimate to room temperature, and if it did sit out in the van all night, go ahead and warm it up a little bit with the heat gun before you start the peel process. Next is don't be afraid to give it too much heat. While you're practicing, play with that heat. I like around 820 degrees, 700
Wow.
degrees works too. A nice digital heat gun, you can control that very well.
Mm,
Be consistent with that heat gun because it's like muscle memory. As you're practicing and learning it, always use the same temperature so that you can get used to how much time to leave it in, various places. Um, the the vinyl will become very, very pliable. The more heat you give it, the more pliable it becomes.
yeah.
It can be too pliable. So a person needs to really kind of experiment with that a little bit and find out where they're comfortable at. That wear layer, when it's heated and shaped, it will remain the shape that it is when it cools down. No matter what you wrap it around, it stays that shape as long as you give it enough heat
Yeah.
to begin with. And I would say that is probably the number one thing that I have to explain to new users is give it more heat. Don't be afraid
Well,
to give it too much and just practice with it.
I was going to ask you in the beginning if you could use a hair dryer, so that would answer that question. You
No,
really can't. It doesn't get hot enough.
Jerry, I was at a trade show and somebody showed me a picture. Said they were having problems with the system. And literally there was a picture of them trying to do it with a hairdryer, Jerry.
So there you go.
So no, a heat gun.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, that helps tell that story. So, can they get the heat gun from you, or they just go to the hardware store?
No, hardware stores, yeah, they're
Yeah,
distributors. Even those distributors that sell the Make It Match, they offer the heat guns, professional grade heat guns as well.
yeah. Works good for taking off your vehicle wrap too when you go to sell your truck. All right, sounds good, Adam. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, and keep an eye out for more information on the masterclass.
All right,
So,
yeah, I will, yeah. Yeah,
all
just let
right,
me know. They can go to makeitmatch.com, watch all the videos, and learn the processes. And it'll
all right.
solve a lot of problems in their life.
Yeah, I know a lot of people using it. They love it. They love the
Yeah.
product. So, all right, I'm glad you created that. It's really helped out a lot of flooring dealers. So, all right, thanks for coming on, Adam.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, talk to you later.
Good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining the Flooring Business Podcast. Now, if you'd like to have a one-on-one discovery call and learn how you can increase your profit and sales by over 30%, go to jerrylevinson.com and let's discuss where you're at and where you want to go. Don't forget to tune in next week where we have another great podcast with another flooring pro.